Item 5, a public hearing. You have to announce the time for that? Yeah.
Open.
At 6:07. A public hearing to allow public comment for both for and in opposition concerning application for specific use permit for the property located at 116 Spring Creek Street for short-term rental. And I don't have anybody on the list.
No, this is a public hearing.
Okay.
They would not sign
Okay.
up, so you need to open the public hearing. and
Okay,
invite
we've
people.
opened the public hearing at 6:07. Anyone like to speak for it or against it? It's the 3-minute. Yeah. And you'll have 3 minutes and your name and address, please.
Okay, my name is Kimberly West. I live at 117 Spring Creek Street. I'm across the street from the Finleys. And I just have concern about the amount of people that will be coming. It is different than when you're in your house and you have guests, and they've had a lot of guests a lot of the time. But just my concern is them being out of the country and having guests, and the pool being in the front of the house. We live right across the street. And so just the noise, and then also we have an Airbnb, like their house is here with, if there's an Airbnb, and there's an Airbnb right here, a large Airbnb. So just to know that the only neighbors I have then are Airbnbs is also a concern of mine. So, do I have any other concerns?
What was your last name again?
West,
West?
like the direction.
Thank you.
Anyone else? For or against, either one?
Hi, I'm Christy Runyon. I live at 3662 Patton Lake Road, and I own the barn dominium, which is directly beside the property that you guys are looking at. I had a lot of turmoil getting my property permitted and in use, which is not why I'm here. I'm not opposed or for the property. I just think there's some concerns that I have as a property owner. If my property is vacant during the time their property is booked, I have concerns there's not a fence that keeps people from my property that would be utilizing their property. So that's a concern of mine. We have 16 acres, and ours is a 5-bedroom, and theirs is a 8-bedroom, and we have concerns that if you have both properties booked, just the noise and the parking and the trash, you know, could be a tremendous issue. We also have another Airbnb VRBO property that is an 8-bedroom at another facility, and those people, they don't gather as a single independent family. If you have 8 bedrooms, you're gathering as multifamily, you're gathering for an event. Very rarely do we ever have, you know, fewer than 20 to 30 people at our 8-bedroom house. So I do think there are some legitimate concerns that you guys should consider as far as, you know, the noise, the parking, the trash. Also, the city of Waco traditionally has a 500 foot perimeter between how far they will allow another Airbnb to coincide with, you know, an existing one. So I think because both of these properties are at the end of the cul-de-sac of a very private road, I think that's worthy of consideration, whether or not you should have 2 large Airbnbs at the end of a cul-de-sac that could, you know, interfere with traffic and, you know, parking and trash and all those other, you know, considerations. So I'm happy to answer any questions if you guys have about what I've been doing in the past or currently doing. I have 7 Airbnbs and kind of anywhere from a 16-bedroom down to a 3-bedroom. So I kind of know the lay of the land pretty well. So anybody have questions, I'm happy to answer. Okay, thank you.
I'm not sure what the rules of order are, but if I need to address any of the things that Christy mentioned
Is
in
that
terms of
enough?
trash,
Come back up and
parking
speak.
and such, I'm happy to.
It's a public hearing, yeah. So you certainly can come speak.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask our property manager to come through.
Where, are we allowed to ask questions?
It's a public hearing. It's not like.
Please, okay. Have to waiting for the motion.
Are we good?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This is Kyle Myers. As I mentioned, he's the owner of Roadrunner Property Management. In terms of trash, even without being an Airbnb, you know, our trash can easily become something that is overflowing. And so part of Roadrunner's stipulation with us is that should the guests reach a point of maximization of trash, then they get in touch with the property management company, and the property management company brings a truck and we'll take care of overflow. Tuesdays, the thing that'll show up at the end of our driveway will be, you know, the amount of cans allotted to us, and not, you know, ideally not stuff overflowing onto the street.
We have a maximum limit of 17.
Yeah,
that we're putting for our Airbnb. We want it more where people are sleeping in actual beds and not
on couches
on
and
couches and everywhere,
cushions
because it
and
is our home.
yeah.
And the property is next door, but there's a large field that's more than an acre between us. It's not like we're next door to each other.
Yeah.
So, and the fence runs everywhere except for on the dam, which is dry part of the time and wet part of the time, so.
I think part of our rules for our guest book will be, you know, no movement onto the adjoining property for any reason. You know, any violation of this, reported by our neighbors, you know, will subject you to being removed from our property. Like I say, I mean, we can't make a promise that we can't, you know, couldn't possibly say this will never happen, but it's not our desire whatsoever for the property to be a nuisance or
Or an event place, you mentioned events, we're not using it in that way for events.
yeah.
I have a question for Roadrunner.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a way to police the double booking issue of someone? I mean, it seems to me like that would be hard for somebody, the way the internet is structured, to find these two properties right next to one another and count up the number of bedrooms and do all that without having an agent do it. How tell us how this works. Have you had that happen before?
No, because they don't give any identifiers to the address or the street name. It's just kind of like a, you know, half-mile, quarter-mile circle radius that you kind of see the general proximity of the address. So that would be very challenging to do, not really realistic, because in your search filters as well, you put how many people are you traveling with, and it shows you the available possibilities. So, you know, there would really not be a way to do that.
Okay.
Do you agree with that?
I don't know, if another concern was mentioned by Mrs. Runyon that you also wanted to ask, we can answer any other questions.
I think ours are more going to be for the staff and the city attorney. I do have some, but I think they'll have to answer them.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? We wait until the motion to have that discussion. Right, okay.
Close public hearing.
Okay, at 6:15, we will close the public hearing and open a work session. Convene regular session. Item 6, approval of minutes from the city council meeting held on August 11th, 2026. Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve the meeting, to approve the minutes from the city council meeting held on August 11th, 2026.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
You guys did get my
Yes, I was
email,
gonna- I
right?
was about to comment,
Okay.
Councilwoman
Roll.
Lucero, Councilwoman Lucero was actually present and she's marked absent, so we just need to amend that.
I sent out an email this morning showing everybody that I had already changed it,
Okay.
so. Is that okay, Dave?
Any other comments or questions? All right, poll the council, please.
Ms. Lucero?
Yes.
Mr. O'Vera?
Yes.
Ms. Jamison?
Yes.
Mr. Daniel?
Yes.
Mr. Hurst?
Yes.
And Mr. Wilson?
Yes. Item 7, discussion and consideration of action to approve an application for a specific use permit for the property located at 116 Spring Creek for short-term rental. I move that we approve this action for application for a specific use permit for the property located at 116 Spring Creek for short-term rental
For how long?
for 1 year. Yeah.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I did have some questions for staff, attorneys and staff.
Yes, sir.
This, what was mentioned that Waco has an ordinance about 500 feet between properties of this particular approval. We don't have anything like that on the books at this time,
We do
correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that'd be something for staff to consider and approve, but it would not be germane for this particular issue.
Correct.
Okay. Parking ordinance, tell us how the parking ordinance applies in this neighborhood. We heard issues about,
Been on an improved surface, and we actually drove by the Finleys today to take a look at it, and they have more than adequate parking on an improved surface.
so if I understand this property correctly, there's like a large half acre between the two properties. It's like a mowed field?
Correct. From where their house sets,
Yeah.
It's my barn that has a little park.
Yeah, but I mean, is it possible to park in that open field? Is that,
oh yeah, absolutely.
is that not in violation about parking in the yard? I mean, I know we can't do that in someone's front yard here in a neighborhood.
Right.
Technically, that's a neighborhood too. How does our existing ordinance apply to
Right.
parking off?
Our
of it?
existing ordinance really wouldn't allow for parking on that other piece of property that they own.
Okay.
But staff feels like they have a huge circular driveway there, and they have more than adequate parking.
Eight or 10 cars would
Oh,
easily.
yeah.
And a driveway in the back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's adequate
Okay.
parking.
Okay. And gravel qualifies as improved surface,
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And lastly, problems elsewhere. Have we had an active bed and breakfast or VRBO type thing that has been a source of problems? Has it come up before?
Yeah, I sort of said, not that I'm aware of, but the chief's saying, no, we never have.
Okay. Right. Well, and kind of for everyone's, we typically do these for 1 year to allow so that there are problems,
Right.
right?
So if there were issues, we can readdress this in a year. And typically, if there are no issues, then we'll extend that, maybe 2-3 years.
Okay. Sorry for hogging up all the airspace there. Any other questions? All right, Larry, please poll the council.
Ms. Jamison?
Yes.
Mr. Daniel?
Yes.
Ms. Lucero?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes?
Mr. Hurst?
Yes.
And Mr. Olvera?
Abstain.
All right. Item 8, discussion and consideration of approval for ordinance 2026-4, a municipal retirement system benefits, an ordinance regarding the city of Lacy Lakeview, Texas municipal retirement system benefits, providing for an annually accruing updated service credits and transfer updated service credits, and annually accruing annuity increases, also referred to as cost of living adjustments for retirees and their beneficiaries. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the ordinance 2026-04, an ordinance regarding the city of Lacy Lakeview's Texas municipal retirement system benefits, providing for 1, an increase to the employee contribution rate, and 2, adopting an annually accruing updated service credits and transfer updated service credits, and annually accruing annuity increases, also referred to as cost of living adjustment, the COLAs, for retirees and their beneficiaries.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
This is, you guys passed the increase. This is just an ordinance that TMRS wants us to have council approve.
Okay.
The ordinance also addresses cost of living, which is part of the overall, and so
Yeah.
when you adjust, TMRS wants you to
Make
consider
sure that's
adjust.
clear. Yeah, make sure that's clear. Any other questions? Laurie, please poll the council.
Mr. Olvera?
Yes.
Ms. Jamison?
Yes.
Mr. Hurst?
Yes.
Mr. Daniel?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes?
And Ms. Lucero?
Yes.
Item 9, discussion and consideration of action to approve the August 12, 2026 engagement letter with Chris Janacek and his firm Paul B. Holm and Company, PLLC, aka Bumgardner Morrison and Company, LLP, to provide audit services to the city for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2026, as set forth in the engagement letter, with a total fee for services not to exceed $26,900. Such services to include completion of the audit within the statutorily required period. Do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the August 12, 2026 engagement letter with Chris Janacek and his firm, Paul B. Holm and Company, PLLC, aka Bumgardner Morrison and Company, LLP, to provide audit services to the city for the fiscal year ending in September 30th, 2026, as set forth in an engagement letter with a total fee for services not to exceed $26,900. Such services include completion of the audit within the statutory required period.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? So everybody's hesitant to make a motion to approve these paragraph-long motions. Any other comments? Laurie, please poll the council.
Mr. Daniel,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes?
Mr. Olvera,
Yes.
Ms. Jamison,
Yes.
Mr. Hurst,
Yes.
and Ms. Lucero.
Yes.
Item 10, public comment. Time for individuals to address the city council on issues and items of concern on or not on the agenda. There will be no city council action at this time, with a limit of 3 minutes per person. City council reserves the right to move upon the agreement of the individual. An individual's request to speak on a specific agenda item up to prior council discussion on the agenda items so that they may speak at that time. Tonight, the only one person signed up is Carla Garcia.
My name is Carla Garcia. I live at 2789 Ross Road in Ross. First, I'd like to say something regarding the discussions last meeting. I have respect for every member of this city council. When all of this is over, there will be some positives that result from all of our interactions. I will not only know my neighbors better, but I will also know much more about Lacy Lakeview and the people I have met and talked with. From my perspective, I view my exchanges with this council as a petitioner. I have no power over this council. My only hope is that I can convince you that a data center in my neighborhood is a mistake that money cannot rationalize. Mr. Hurst, I know at the last meeting you talked about the need for us to bring facts to you. Everything I have spoken about at these meetings has been factual and truthful. I don't see any point in providing bad information and have faithfully tried to make sure that I have not done so. If a person looks at all the discussions and information available, I don't think my assertions would be interpreted as untrue. Another thing to note is that we're not hearing or seeing any denials from Meta, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, or Oracle on our claims about high energy usage, high water consumption, excessive noise pollution, excessive light pollution, negative property value income impacts, or my favorite right now, excessive heat impacts. This alone indicates they know the negatives about data centers and that what we are claiming is true. I really believe the data center issue is a bubble that will burst. New technology will be developed, and our country will end up being littered with obsolete data centers that will have ruined the land they occupy. That is another reason I'm against the N4Key data center. When all is said and done, if it is built, my neighbors and I will be left with a ruined neighborhood, and Lacy Lakeview will be left holding a bag empty of everything but broken promises. Thank you for your time.
All right, item 11, council members' input.
Carla, I agree with you, and I respect your point of view also.
Thank you.
I hope that out of all this, our silence is not because we feel one way or the other. It's because we can't say or shouldn't say some things that our mind might change on later on. We have to keep an open mind, and we have to use the knowledge that we get from y'all and from other people. What I'm seeing is there's some changing in the negatives. As technology comes along, some of the negatives aren't still perfect by any means, but they're not the same as something that was built 10 years ago, for instance, or 5 years ago even, in some cases a year ago. So I would just challenge your group to make sure you stay up to speed on those technologies, and maybe you'll see. I don't think you'll ever see where you would vote for it if you could, but because I understand the situation 100%. I'm been born in the country, raised in the country, lived in the country all my life. So until I moved to Lacy Lakeview, so I understand completely. But there's other things to play also. So anyway, I just want to say that.
I just have to keep speaking up.
Sure, I don't blame you.
I just want to apologize for being late. Sorry,
God, some people-
I was late.
it's hard to
and
get good help.
My attire and oh man, all of it. Also, yeah, I'm sorry.
Always that one.
Any other comments? All right. Item 12, Mayor's Report. Carl, I'd just like to second what Ronnie said. You know, you've always stuck to the issues, never made it personal, and we appreciate that. That has not always been the case. And, you know, like Ronnie, I grew up in the country. I don't live in the country anymore. I know what time it is in the morning because I can hear the ready-mix plant, concrete, fired up. And when the wind is blowing from the right direction, I can smell the smoked chicken, which is not entirely from coming from Cargill. So we do understand where you're coming from on that. I would encourage you to watch as the data center projects that are local start to roll out. I think you're going to see the features of those properties are going to say address, but they're not going to have the things that you're concerned about. Those issues, as Ronnie mentioned, the new data centers being built are not what is being described on the internet. And I know some of them being pictured and talked about on the internet. You know, when you talk to the people who are elected officials and from those areas, it's 180. It's completely different. And so I just be patient with us. We're going to make sure that all of this information gets out for the public, and we're going to be starting to work on that next month. And the companies that are thinking about coming here are making plans to come and speak. So and that's been frustrating for us, that we're having to kind of defend, or we feel in that position to defend data centers in general. It's not our job. But what we want is to have real specific proposals, and those are close. Those are close. So that'll help, I think, everyone at least focus a little bit on what the real issues at hand are. Anyway, thank you. And for anyone else out there, you know, we do have an executive session which will last for a few minutes tonight. But you know, as always, if you do have questions for us, you're welcome to stay and talk to us after the meeting. At that time, 6:30, we're going to recess regular session and convene executive session.
I still got 15 more to go and I'll reach my goal.
All right, at 6:39, we're gonna reconvene in a regular session. Item 13, discussion and consideration of motion, if any, regarding matters discussed in executive session. Hearing none, we'll move to item 14. Meeting is adjourned, 6:39. Okay, that was quick.